Hi, my name is Leah Warner, and I'm the college advisor serving at Maple Valley Junior Senior High School along with Relevant Academy of Eaton County. So, the reason why I picked Grand Valley was actually kind of weird and something I don't recommend to my students, but I did really well academically in high school, and I ended up applying to Saginaw Valley, Grand Valley, and Central Michigan University. I was lucky enough to get into all three, and then when it came down to make a decision, I just couldn't decide, so I decided I liked the color blue, so I picked Grand Valley. I also didn't apply to college until January of my senior year, which I don't recommend at all. Please apply to schools earlier to make a better informed decision than just you like their school colors. Um, but so I just decided to attend Grand Valley. I did not stay with the same major throughout my post-secondary journey, and it definitely changed. I started my career as undecided. I met with an advisor, and she thought I should become a teacher, and I absolutely hated that idea because I knew how underappreciated and underpaid teachers can be. Um, and that's something I didn't want to do. I also didn't want to deal with kids, just because sometimes they can get on my nerves. But I just knew I just absolutely didn't want to become a teacher. So me and that advisor just did not get along well because she was trying to push me down a path I didn't want to go on. I then did a little research and decided I want to become a medical examiner. That was something that was really fascinating to me. It would be really cool to work for like the FBI or something like that and figure out how people died and things like that. So then I started to major in biology. Well, I realized I would have to go to school for like 5 extra years after I got my undergrad, and I decided that that was just way too much. Um, I then changed my major again to art. I know that's this like super opposite of biology, but I'm a very creative person and always loved art and never really thought of having a career in art. But I quickly became aware that I was not as talented as I thought I was, especially like against my other colleagues who were really gifted and did really well. So then I went back to being undecided. I finally took a class that changed my perspective on the world, and it was called Meaning. It was a liberal studies course, and the professor and I just clicked. She was the first professor who identified as me, and I think that really helped us getting along. I ended up having her become an academic advisor, and we talked through what I enjoyed and my why behind why I was going to college and wanted to pursue post secondary education. I then discovered that learning about other races and ethnicities and communities was something that I really enjoyed doing. I grew up in a small rural community and I was a part of a small percentage of students of color. Um, so when I came to Grand Valley, I learned that there were people just like me and people who were not like me, and that was amazing, and it's something I really wanted to learn more about. Not pursue the career that I planned on pursuing. Like I said, I was undecided, but after finding my passion, I ended up graduating with my Bachelor's of Science in Liberal Studies with an emphasis in cultural diversity. I'm now a college advisor serving at Maple Valley Junior Senior High School along with Relevant Academy of Eaton County. I really help students navigate the college going process in hopes that they will have a smoother college career than I did. After I finish my term of service here, I hope to either stay in this post-secondary realm, maybe it's working at another high school or maybe a college, but I would eventually like to get my master's and potentially a doctorate, and kind of look at privilege and other those like really tough conversations that people don't like to have about race, and really break down those barriers and get people to learn more about it. Did encounter some hiccups and setbacks. Like I said, I changed my major 3 different times, and I ended up graduating in 5.5 years versus 4 just because I really couldn't decide on what I wanted to do. I also ran into a time in my junior year where I just felt hopeless and lost because I didn't know what I wanted to do. But luckily, I found the academic advisor that was able to help me through it. Also, my high school didn't have a college advisor, so if my parents wouldn't have gone to college, I absolutely probably would not have gone to college as well, just because the process is so difficult. Um, and it's if I didn't have help, I probably wouldn't have gone. I feel like if I would have had that advisor to help me hammer out those career details in the college going process, I could have definitely saved myself some time and maybe had a better idea of what I wanted to pursue. So I was involved in a club in college. So I was a part of the women's rugby club at Grand Valley State University my freshman year. I gained lifelong friends and experiences along the way. I highly recommend students to join some kind of club when they go to college. It doesn't have to be a sport, it can be a hobby, but joining that club gives you the extra support system and other students who could be going through the same issues that you are, or someone who may not, who may have a different perspective of you. But it definitely helped me make some friends and definitely uh, some connections as I got older and I graduated college. Like even now, if I run into someone who played college rugby or played rugby in general, we immediately click and talk about the game and things like that, and it just gives you that extra connection after you graduate. So what would I tell my younger self? Well, don't tear your ACL in playing rugby against U of M. That was definitely a huge setback. But on a more serious note, I'd really tell myself in high school to do more of that career searching. Really hammer out what you want to do and figure out, what you really enjoy, like what your passions are. But understand that it's okay not to know, because sometimes things just absolutely work out for the best. So don't stress out if you don't know what you want to do. You will figure it out. You will find someone who is going through the same process that you are, and you will definitely figure out what you want to do.